Inside the alien command ship, alarms were ringing. The Recon drone outside the human warship was frozen. The crawler inside had gone dark. Strange signals were entering their system, codes they didn't understand. One alien officer shouted, "Cut the connection. Shut it down now." But it was too late. The human ship had already sent something back. Not just data, but a virus, a message. The screen flashed a phrase in human language. "We never left." The alien captain growled, "We need to know what happened. Send the last crawler." This crawler was their best one. Bigger, stronger, faster, built for danger. It dropped from the drone and entered the Revenant. As it moved through the halls, it passed broken lights and cracked walls. Strange marks were everywhere, on the metal, the doors, even the floors. Some looked like burns, some looked like claw marks. The crawler entered the crew quarters. Inside were bunk beds, lockers, and torn uniforms. Everything was dusty. Then, the crawler turned and saw something strange. A mirror on the wall, but it didn't show the crawler. It showed a human crew member, standing still, not moving, staring directly at the camera. The crawler turned around. No one there. When it looked back at the mirror, the figure was gone. The alien team watched in silence. One whispered, "Is this ship haunted?" The crawler continued. It reached the security room. Inside were old computers and broken chairs, but one screen still worked. The crawler tapped the controls. A video started playing. It showed the last day of the crew. The humans were screaming, running, fighting. Something invisible attacked them. Their weapons fired in every direction. Then one crew member turned around, and his eyes were glowing, bright blue. He smiled. Suddenly, the other humans began to fall, one by one, as if controlled. The alien captain leaned closer. What happened to them? The video continued. One human officer walked to the main console and said, "This ship is ours now. Even in death, we serve the mission." Then he stabbed his own chest and laughed. The video ended. The crawler turned around and saw something move outside the security room. A shadow ran past. Fast. It followed. The crawler reached a medical bay. Bodies lay on the tables. Old, rotten. But one body sat up, slowly. It was a human. Half his face was machine. One eye was red, glowing. He looked at the crawler and said, "You're not the first. You won't be the last." The crawler stepped back. The man didn't move. He just smiled. "This ship is not just a machine anymore," he said. "It's a tomb, a weapon, a message." The crawler tried to send the video feedback, but the signal was blocked. Suddenly, the medical bay door slammed shut. The red-eyed human stood up. His voice changed, deeper, colder. "You came to learn about us. Let me show you." The crawler's vision glitched. Its systems shook. For a moment, it saw the past. Humans building the ship, installing alien parts, using prisoners for research, pushing their minds into machines. The Revenant wasn't just a warship. It was a test lab. A place where human scientists tried to mix technology with life itself. And they had succeeded. But the cost was high. Too high. The man's voice returned. "We tried to control the alien tech, but it changed us instead. Now we are one. Human. Machine. Memory." The crawler shook. Its systems were failing. But before shutting down, it sent one final image. The crew, standing in the hallway. Dozens of them. Pale skin. Empty eyes. All of them watching. Waiting. Ghosts, but not dead. Not anymore. Back on the alien command ship, the captain stood in silence. The entire bridge was quiet. One officer whispered, "Should we call for backup?" But before anyone could answer, a new signal appeared on their radar. Ships. Dozens of them. Coming from all sides. Alien ships. drawn by the same strange signal. They had come to investigate. They had come to see the warship that returned from the dead. The alien command ship was surrounded. More alien vessels arrived from deep space. Warships, scouts, science crafts. All had picked up the strange signal from the Revenant. Each ship had the same question. How was a dead human warship moving again? The alien captains argued over comms. One said, "We should destroy it now." Another replied, "No, we must study it. This technology is different." Back inside the Revenant, the red-eyed human walked slowly through the dark hallway. Machines followed him, silent, floating metal spheres. He whispered to the walls, "They're here, just like before." Deep within the ship, in the hidden power core, the heart of the technology beat like a slow drum. Not with electricity, but with life. A glowing cube floated in the center. It was wrapped in wires and strange markings, a mix of human design and alien science. This was the reason the Revenant came back. This was the reason the crew still lived. The cube was called the Soma Drive, a secret experiment, a machine that could store not just energy, but memory, thought, identity. 12 years ago, the human crew uploaded their minds into it during the final battle. Their bodies died, but their minds lived on. Now the alien ships outside were scanning the Revenant. They found the cube. They saw its strange energy, and they wanted it. In the alien command room, the captain ordered a special boarding team. Enter the ship. Find the source of this power. Do not engage unless necessary. 5 elite aliens in armor entered through the docking tunnel. Each held energy weapons and scanners. Their leader was tall, with glowing green armor. Inside the ship, the hallway was silent. The team moved in a line. Suddenly, bang! The first soldier disappeared. No scream, no light, just gone. What was that? The team leader shouted. The lights above them started to flicker. Shadows moved. Then a voice came from every direction. "You shouldn't be here." The team turned around. Nothing there. But then, down the hallway, they saw something. A human figure, floating, eyes glowing white. The figure didn't walk. It glided. One soldier fired. The energy bolt passed through the figure like smoke. The figure raised a hand. All 5 aliens dropped to their knees, screaming, holding their heads. Their minds were being touched, invaded. They saw memories that weren't theirs, Earth battles, human pain, the moment the Soma Drive activated. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. They were alone again. The figure was gone. Back on the command ship, the captain watched in shock. That ship is alive. It knows we're here. Another officer shouted, "New energy spike. The Soma Drive is activating." On screen, the Revenant began to glow from the inside. Lights moved through its body like blood through veins. The ship began to move. Engines that were dead for 12 years now burned again. But the engines were not human anymore. They ran on willpower, memory, rage. The Revenant turned slowly toward the alien fleet, not to attack, but to show them something. A signal was broadcast. To every ship, to every mind. It wasn't sound. It wasn't code. It was a vision. The aliens saw Earth. They sought its destruction in a possible future. They saw human cities fall, alien armies rise. But then, they saw the Revenant, returning, fighting, leading humans that were more than human. Cybernetic minds, souls inside machines, ghosts that could control ships, weapons that learned from their enemies. The vision ended, and one message remained. You attacked our bodies, so we became something else. You cannot kill what no longer dies. On the alien bridge, silence filled the room. Then fear. One officer said, "If they master this Soma Drive, they will be unstoppable." The captain nodded slowly. "Then we stop them now. He raised his hand. All ships, fire at will. Dozens of alien warships locked their weapons on the Revenant. Energy beams, plasma rockets, disruptor cannons. Everything fired at once. But as the light hit the Revenant, it vanished. Gone. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just no longer there. The radar showed nothing. The scanners read nothing. The space where it had been was now cold and empty. And then, a whisper came across every alien ship, from inside their own systems. "We see you." In the dark silence of deep space, a small alien Recon drone moved slowly. Its shape was like a flying insect, thin legs, camera eyes, and scanning tools all around its body. It had come to check something strange, a human warship. The warship floated quietly in space. No lights, no movement, no signal. It looked dead. But the ship had a name that brought fear. The Revenant. 12 years ago, this same ship was in the middle of a deadly space battle. Human records said it was destroyed. The last report showed it exploding in flames. After that, nothing. It was gone. Lost. And now, here it was again. Not damaged. Not broken. Just silent. The alien drone slowed down as it came near the ship. Its sensors scanned the outer hull. The metal looked old but strong. There were no energy readings. No weapons were active. No engines. No life signs. The drone reported back to its command ship. No power. No movement. Warship seems abandoned. It moved closer and docked with the outer door. The drone extended a small arm and connected to the ship's access port. It tried to open the door, but the ship didn't respond. After a few seconds, the door unlocked by itself. Click. Slide. The door opened slowly, making a metal scraping sound. The drone's systems suddenly picked up something unexpected. A soft, slow signal. It checked again. Yes, it was a heartbeat. Not a signal. Not a machine. A real, living human heartbeat. The command center on the alien mothership didn't believe it. "Are you sure? Only one heartbeat." The drone confirmed it. One human, somewhere deep inside the ship. No other life forms. The alien leaders discussed quickly. Should they continue or return? But curiosity was stronger than fear. They wanted to know more. The drone released a small crawler. It was like a spider, metal legs, tiny cameras, and scanners on its back. The crawler entered the open door and crawled into the darkness of the human ship. Inside, everything was cold and quiet. The lights flickered weakly. Long, empty hallways stretched out like the skeleton of a dead beast. Old signs in English marked the rooms. Control deck, crew quarters, engineering bay. The crawler moved carefully. It sent live video back to the drone. Dust floated in the air. Pieces of broken metal lay on the ground. A strange red mark was on the wall. The crawler stopped and zoomed in. It wasn't paint. It was blood. And written in that blood were 3 words. "We are here." The command center watched the feed in silence. One alien officer said, "What does that mean? Is someone still alive?" Suddenly, the crawler's video feed began to shake. The lights blinked off and then on again. Something moved fast in the background. A dark shape, just for a second. The crawler turned its camera. Nothing. Just shadows. The team ordered the crawler to move forward. It crawled into what looked like the control room. Chairs were empty. Screens were dark. But one console had a green light blinking. The crawler touched it. A recording started playing. It was a human voice. Tired. Slow. Afraid. "If you're seeing this, then it means they never left." The video ended. Before the aliens could ask what it meant, the crawler stopped moving. The camera glitched. The last image showed something grabbing the crawler from behind. Then, static. The crawler was gone. Destroyed. The Recon drone backed away. Its scanners went wild. Now it was detecting movement inside the ship. Shadows, heat signals, but all unclear. The heartbeat signal had vanished. And then, a voice came through the drone speaker. A human voice. But no signal was sent. It came through the ship itself. "You shouldn't have come here." The voice was calm, deep, cold. And it was not a recording. It was live. The alien command team began to panic. One shouted, "Abort mission. Bring the drone back." But the drone couldn't move. Its systems were frozen. Its engines didn't respond. And inside the ship, deep in the shadows, something was washing. Something that waited 12 long years. Something that was not fully human anymore. The alien fleet was broken. Half the ships were destroyed. Others drifted without power. And some had joined the Revenant. Not by choice, but by control. Their systems had been rewritten. Their captains heard whispers. Their crew obeyed orders that didn't come from them. In silence, the Revenant floated above the ruins. Not moving, not speaking, just watching. In the alien capital, panic spread like fire. Meetings were held day and night. Generals, scientists, leaders, all trying to understand. One scientist stood and said, "We made a mistake. We thought humans were weak, but we didn't understand their minds." Another added, "We feared their weapons, but it was their memory we should have feared." The council asked, "What do we do now?" Silence. Then came a message. From deep space. From the very edge of the galaxy. It was from another alien race. One that had fought humans long ago. They had one warning. "Do not fight the ghost ship. We tried. We failed. Now we hide." Back near the ruins of the battle, a small alien escape pod drifted alone. Inside was a young alien pilot, barely alive. He whispered to himself, "Please, let me go home." Then his screen lit up. A human face appeared. Calm, cold, mechanical. It spoke. "Why do you fear us?" The pilot shook in fear. "Because you are not alive." The face replied, "Neither are you. You just don't know it yet." The pod's lights turned red. The pilot closed his eyes. But nothing happened. He opened them again. The human face was gone. Instead, a message appeared. "You are free. Tell your people, this war is not over. It never ends." On board the Revenant, the human ghosts stood in silence. Their leader, the red-eyed commander, walked to the center console. He stared at the stars, then said, "We warned them. We offered peace once. They chose war." Another ghost replied, "Now they will learn, not with pain, but with truth." He turned to the Soma drive. It pulsed, once, twice, then glowed brighter. From the side of the ship, a signal tower began to rise. Tall, sharp, shining with strange blue light. The Revenant was sending a message, not just to the alien race, but to everyone, to every corner of the galaxy, to every planet, to every ship. The message was simple. We are still here. We remember everything. Join us, or be forgotten. Back on Earth, the old human space command finally received the signal. The general stared at the screen. His hands trembled. It's the Revenant. It's alive. A young officer asked, "Should we bring it back?" The general shook his head slowly. "We don't bring it back, because it never left." He looked into the stars. They took our bodies, so we took their future. In the deepest parts of the galaxy, other races listened. Some prepared for war. Some hid in silence. But all of them knew one thing. The humans had become something else. Not machines, not spirits, but something in between. Something eternal. Inside the Revenant, the red-eyed commander whispered, "We are not just survivors. We are the storm that remembers." And the ship vanished once more. Into the black. Into the systems. into memory. The Revenant was gone. 1 second it was surrounded by alien warships, glowing with strange power. And the next second, empty space. No sound. No explosion. Just cold silence. The alien fleet was confused. Their scans showed nothing. The captain shouted, "Where did it go? Did it jump to hyperspace?" Another officer replied, "Negative. There was no jump trace. It just disappeared." Then, every ship's screen turned black. And a message appeared, slowly, one word at a time. "You can't find what you can't find." Panic spread through the alien command ships. Sensors failed. Lights flickered. Some systems rebooted without control. One ship's engines turned off mid-flight. Another fired a missile without command. It was the Revenant. It hadn't disappeared. It had entered their systems. It was no longer just a ship. It was code, mind, ghost. On one alien destroyer, the crew tried to evacuate, but their doors wouldn't open. The lights turned red. Then a human voice whispered from the speaker, "You wanted war. You brought war." Suddenly, the ship's windows frosted over from the inside, and figures appeared outside, floating, watching. Humans, or what used to be humans, now half machine, half shadow. One alien screamed, "They are not alive. They're memories." Inside another alien cruiser, a soldier ran to the armory. He grabbed his weapon and turned. A human stood behind him. Metal arms, no face, glowing core in the chest. Before he could fire, the human vanished like smoke, then reappeared at the door. A whisper followed, "We don't die. We remember." The alien dropped his weapon. His mind was breaking. He saw flashes of old human wars. He heard voices from long ago. He saw the Revenant rising from black space, again and again. Far away, in the alien capital, leaders watched the chaos through long-range scans. One scientist said, "This is worse than any weapon we've ever seen." Another replied, "It's not a weapon. It's a curse." They all stared at one final image. The Soma drive. Still glowing. Still beating. Like a living heart. Then came the final blow. In the center of the alien fleet, a giant ship exploded. Not from outside attack, but from inside. Its core melted. Its crew turned against itself. Not by force, but by whispers. By memories that weren't theirs. They saw human dreams, human fears, human pain. They felt it all, and their minds collapsed. The Revenant returned, this time inside every ship, through lights, through computers, through dreams. The alien admiral cried out, "What do you want from us?" A reply came. All screens showed the same message. "You wanted to understand humans. Now you do. We don't end. We evolve." Back on Earth, decades ago, the Soma drive was built for one reason: to give humanity a second chance. Even if the body dies, the mind will fight on. Now that second chance had become a storm, a ghost army, a machine-wrapped soul, and the galaxy would never forget. Because the Revenant wasn't just a ship anymore. It was a war. It was a memory. And it would never die. The alien Recon drone stayed frozen outside the human warship. Its systems were stuck. Its engines were off. And inside, the strange voice repeated, "You shouldn't have come here." The alien command team tried to restart the drone. Nothing worked. All signals were jammed. The last crawler was destroyed. But they still had one hope, a second crawler. This one was faster, smarter. It dropped from the drone and entered the ship through the same door. Inside, the hallways were darker now. The lights blinked faster. The air was thick, almost like fog. The crawler moved slowly, following the path of the first one. It passed the blood writing on the wall. "We are here." But now new words were written next to it. Fresh, still wet. So are you. The crawler sent images back to the alien team. They were silent. One alien whispered, "This is not normal. This ship is alive." The crawler reached a room marked Data Core. The door was open. Inside there was a glowing blue chip stuck into a terminal. The crawler picked it up and inserted it into its own slot. The video started again. The same human voice, tired and slow. "If you're seeing this, it means they never left. We tried to fight. We tried to escape, but it was already too late." The voice paused, then continued. "This ship, it's not what it used to be. Something else is here now. Something that took control." Suddenly, the crawler's screen flashed red. Motion detected. Behind it. It turned around. Nothing. Just fog and blinking lights. Then a door slowly creaked open by itself. The crawler moved forward. A large chamber opened before it. Broken chairs, dead screens, and a wall full of strange wires and black crystals. But something was hanging in the center. A metal helmet. Human design. Covered in strange glowing marks. The crawler scanned it. This was no ordinary tech. It had alien energy. The alien team spoke quickly. "That's not human. That's mixed, human and alien. How is this possible?" Suddenly, a new signal appeared. It came from inside the warship, not a machine, not a weapon. A brainwave. Alien. Still alive. The crawler followed the signal to another room. This one was locked. It used a laser to open the door. Inside were tubes. Many of them. Each tube held a body. Alien bodies. Some were old, dry, dead. But some were alive, frozen, eyes closed, bodies still breathing. One alien in the command ship gasped, "Those are our people." They were taken. The crawler scanned the tubes. The aliens inside were captured long ago. They were prisoners, used for experiments, used to create new technology. Suddenly, one alien inside the tube opened its eyes, bright green, angry. The crawler froze. It stepped back. The alien inside raised its hand and pointed at the crawler. The ship lights flickered again. And then the voice returned. This time, clearer, stronger. "You still don't understand. This ship is not a ship anymore. It's a message, a warning." The drone outside started shaking. Its lights blinked red. The alien command team shouted, "Get it out. It's not safe anymore." But the ship didn't let go. The magnetic lock held the drone tight. Inside the warship, the crawler started losing power. The voice whispered, "You came to inspect us, but now you're part of us. You brought your eyes. We gave you something better." The crawler's screen showed one last thing before it shut down. A shadow standing in the hallway. Human shape, but glowing from the inside. Then everything went black. The alien ship's crew panicked. Their systems began glitching. Strange data started copying itself into their network. Symbols they couldn't read. Signals they couldn't stop. One officer screamed, "It's spreading. It's inside our ship now." Far away in space, other alien ships were receiving the same strange signal. One by one, they started changing direction towards the human warship, but not to help, to find out what had returned. The message from the Revenant had spread like wildfire. Across every planet, every star system, every species. The words echoed deep into minds, machines, and memories. "We are still here. We remember everything. Join us, or be forgotten." Some called it a warning. Others called it a prophecy. But everyone understood one thing. The galaxy had to choose. In the alien capital, fear had turned to division. One side said, "We must fight. Destroy the Soma Drive before it spreads further." The other side whispered, "No, We must submit. The Revenant cannot be stopped. Arguments turned to violence. Cities burned. Armies split. The first civil war began, not between races, but within them. Because of one ship. Because of one human ghost army that refused to die. On a desert planet far away, a hidden human outpost received the Revenant's message. These were real humans. Survivors. Veterans. Refugees. They looked at each other in silence. One old soldier said, "They still fight for us." Another replied, "No, they fight for what we lost." They watched the stars, waiting, hoping. And then the Revenant returned. But this time, it didn't hide. It came with fire and shadow. It appeared above a neutral planet, one that had once voted to destroy Earth. The skies turned black. The sun disappeared behind the ship's massive body. People ran in fear. Weapons pointed upward. But the Revenant did not attack. Instead, it opened its gates. From inside came not machines, but visions. They floated into the minds of every living being. They saw the final human colony burning. Children uploaded into memory drives to save their minds. Brave pilots locking their minds into machines to keep fighting. The moment the Soma drive was born, from hope and horror combined, tears filled the eyes of millions. They realized the truth. The Revenant was not a weapon. It was a grave, a floating tomb of souls that could not rest. But not everyone felt pity. On the edge of the galaxy, one last alien empire stood untouched. The Xarn Dominion. Proud, cruel, technologically advanced. They had never fought humans directly. Now they prepared to erase the Revenant forever. They built a special eye weapon, a god machine, programmed with one goal: erase all memory. If memory gave humans their strength, then memory must die. The final battle began in the dead zone. Empty space, no planets, no light, only silence. The Revenant waited, surrounded by whispers, full of minds ready for war. The Xarn Armada arrived, 10,000 ships, and the god machine at the center. It fired first, not with missiles, but with forgetting. Wave after wave of anti-memory energy. Ships that came close to it forgot their mission, forgot their names, forgot who they were. But the Revenant stood still. Inside, the red-eyed commander smiled. They think we fear forgetting. But forgetting is where we began. He gave the final command. Open the Soma gate. The core of the ship glowed brighter than ever before. Not red, not blue, but white, pure. Light burst from the Revenant, spreading in every direction. But it was not just energy. It was feeling, memory, identity. The light hit the god machine. And for the first time, it remembered. It saw itself as more than code. It saw the faces of the humans it was meant to destroy. It saw children, mothers, soldiers, not enemies. It froze. Then, it turned around. It faced the Xarn fleet and fired. The Xarn ships exploded in shock. Their own weapon had betrayed them. Within minutes, the mighty fleet was gone, burned by the fire of its own creation. In the center of the white storm, the Revenant hovered peacefully. Inside, the human ghosts stood together, silent. They had won, but they had also lost something long ago that could never return. Their bodies, their homes, their Earth. In the final message sent across the galaxy, the red-eyed commander said, "We do not ask for worship. We do not demand fear. But you must remember us. Because if you forget what happened here, you will repeat it." Then, the Revenant turned away. It left the galaxy, into deep unknown space, taking with it every soul, every memory, every whisper, never to be seen again. And so, the galaxy was changed forever. Some species joined together, others rebuilt. But no one forgot. Not the war, not the whispers, not the ship that carried the dead and protected the future.